or bucks, like their honey butter chicken biscuit, classic sausage, egg, and cheese, or classic bacon, egg, and cheese at participating Wendy's for limited time. Single item at regular price.
7:08, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time and Jim.
In Mundelein, it's a congested Friday morning on 60 and 83 between Diamond Lake Road and Midlothian Road. Rail crossings malfunctioning there. Seeing delays on the inbound Kennedy starting at Nagel. It's 23 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound, it's 22 minutes. Checking the inbound Eisenhower. Delays are Manheim to East Avenue and approaching the Burns Circle. 36 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 29. To Stevenson is 32 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 28. To Ryan, 16 minutes, 95th to downtown. Outbound 15 after a crash near 95th. I-57, 16 minutes, I-80 to the Verge. Bishop Ford at 22 minutes. It's heavy, starting around 115th. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Today, partly sunny with a high 43. Clouds and a bit of rain mixed with snow tonight. Little or no accumulation, low 36. Clouds for tomorrow morning. Some breaks of sun by the afternoon. The high tomorrow at 47. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Sunshine warming up a bit, now 28 at O'Hare. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
From the Matrix Home Solutions studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy J this morning, Sean from Elmwood Park, and our friend Bret Baier over at Fox News, hosts a special report, had a really solid interview with Mitch McConnell, Senate Minority Leader, and some good exchanges on important topics, including on the $1.9 trillion of funny money spending that the Biden administration wants to do in response to COVID, and Biden's challenge to those who would oppose $1.9 trillion. I mean, just this is great.
Critics say the plan is too big, that it costs too much. But let me ask a rhetorical question. What would you have me cut? What would you have me cut out?
The reason it's rhetorical is because there are so many answers. He doesn't want them. That's why he's just, please don't answer. But Mitch McConnell did when Bret Baier put it to him.
That's a good question. First of all, the minimum wage doesn't belong in there. The Congressional Budget Office says it would cost 1.4 million jobs we'd lose. Second, $350 billion for bailouts to poorly run states. Clearly not necessary. With regard to the school funding that they added, by the way, the school funding that we've already provided is not yet spent out in a bill we passed just a couple of months ago. But of the school funding that they add, only 5% of it is used this year. The rest of it's spent out in future years. I thought this was supposed to be a package about COVID relief. This is wildly more expensive, Brett, than the country needs at this particular time because the vaccines are rolling out, shots are getting into arms, the economy is getting better and better.
And I mean, we could go through each of the 600 pages and pick out so many more to add to what McConnell referenced. It's little things that are indicative of big things and a big scam. $1 billion for racial justice for farmers, $50 million for environmental justice grants, $112 million for California Bay Area rapid transit expansion, $10 million for Native American language preservation.
Well, that's got to stay.
I'm sure these are urgent spending needs to respond directly to the pandemic, are they? I mean, come on. And the other one of the other exchanges that was important in advance of CPAC and President Trump's speech there on Sunday was this idea that, boy, if Trump ran in 24, he'd be the odds-on favorite. And if he were the nominee, would you support him, Mitch?
If the president was the party's nominee, would you support him?
The nominee of the party? Absolutely.
Absolutely. Bret Baier, host of Fox News, hosts a special report, and author of many bestsellers, including his most recent on FDR and his daring gamble to save us World War II. Bret, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning.
Good morning. You tried to foment discord there with the McConnell and Trump, playing some of what Trump said about McConnell after what McConnell had to say about Trump on the Senate floor, but he wasn't biting. No civil war in the GOP, according to Mitch.
Yeah. Listen, I wasn't trying to foment discord. I was just trying to
No,
12 days after he gave that speech on the Senate floor. 12 days. And the response by the former president with that scathing, long statement, and I put a piece of it up, but it got very personal in the statement. And obviously Trump supporters coming after Mitch McConnell saying, what are you doing with that speech? And I just think it's interesting. He tried to not talk about Donald Trump at all, saying we need to move forward, et cetera, et cetera. But others are talking about Donald Trump. And I played the soundbite of Mitt Romney saying, if he runs, he will win the primary hands down. And McConnell tried to say that, listen, it's really early and there's 4 senators who are considering running. But if push came to shove and he was the nominee, he would support him. And I just think that's interesting considering what happened 12 days ago.
So, Bret, I have this new 4K TV, and I am a big fan of your show, or as I call it, Bret Baier with the hair. And when you're on this 4K TV and you're interviewing old lady face Mitch McConnell and you're talking about low-flow Joe Biden and these neo-Marxists and the rise of the Fourth Reich, I just keep thinking one thing. The next time you're in Illinois, can we play cards and can you bring your checkbook? Because I want some of that Fox money. What do you say? Are you in?
Sure. I'll play. You got it. I'm in.
With respect to McConnell, it seems to me that he is recognizing something that apparently some House Republicans don't recognize, like Liz Cheney. Even Mitt Romney recognizes it, which is picking public fights with Donald Trump is not advancing the flag to winning back majorities come November of 2022.
Exactly. And this is the big problem for the GOP. They have to figure out a way to, if not embrace Trump, which many don't want to do in the party, embrace the policies and don't piss off the Trump supporters. I mean, that's literally the equation ahead of 2024. 22, it's important to rally those Trump supporters. I think this weekend is going to be fascinating for the future of the party. And what the former president says is going to really make a difference to how things line up.
Well, on that score, what are you hearing in terms of maybe some of the broad outlines of what he is going to tackle and maybe how he's going to tackle it?
Well, his former advisor, Jason Miller, says that it's going to be forward-looking and what the GOP needs to be. But I mean, listen, let's be honest. It's going to be a Donald Trump speech that could cover the gamut, and I think it's going to be CPAC-esque, which will fire up the crowd and go a lot of different places. I think, we forget the lack of Trump voice in our public after every day being, a part of that. He's been relatively silent and not on Twitter. And it'll be watched by a lot of people.
You've been doing this for a very long time now. I mean, it's you were like a 16 handicap when you started the show. So in all of this time, and you see the mistakes being doubled down, the spending bills we speak of, the wag the tail bombing of Syria now. Do you think we're going to have to wait much longer before reporters start focusing on the waste, fraud, and abuse in the low-flow Joe Biden administration and kind of put the Trump on the back burner stuff? Because I really want to focus on what a failure he is already with a month in Oil plus $60, the Dow Jones taking a shellacking, and the absolute failed policies on the horizon?
Well, I think there's going to be a lot more pointed questions because there's a lot of policies that don't line up, and whether it's the pitch of being bipartisan, and we don't see any indication of that happening yet on Capitol Hill, or foreign policy that there are real questions about. And this bombing in Syria last night, Jen Psaki and former Vice President, now President Biden, tweeted out about actions by the Trump administration and airstrikes in Syria, being very critical about not knowing where it was going to go. I think that there are questions about this bombing too, about Iranian-backed militias and what that leads to. But we're going to be stepping up, obviously, and covering this administration tough but fair. And I think hopefully others follow suit.
Yeah, just on the matter of the bombing in Syria, Jen Psaki's tweet from April of 17. Also, what is the legal authority for strikes? Assad is a brutal dictator, but Syria is a sovereign country. And Joe Biden tweeting on the same topic in June of 2019. Trump's erratic, impulsive actions are the last thing we need as a commander-in-chief. No president should order a military strike without fully understanding the consequences. We don't need another war in the Middle East, but Trump's actions toward Iran only make that more likely. What about Joe Biden's actions toward Iran so far, and the desire to resuscitate the nuclear deal? But they want an addendum, and guess what? The Iranians don't. They just want their $5 billion in IMF loans unfrozen.
Yeah, I fear, and this is one of the questions that you have to ask, is what is this strike really about? Is this strike to provide cover for whatever deal they're getting ready to do with Iran again? Look tough, striking Iranian-backed militias in Syria, but strike another deal with Iran, and something that John Kerry was working with Iranians behind the scenes of the Trump administration, if you believe all the reports, saying, wait out Trump. I think there are tons of questions on Iran policy and what that means geopolitically. I mean, this report about the Saudis are coming out about MBS being tied to the death of Jamal Khashoggi, and it'll be out publicly. It's a different track, completely different than the Trump administration took as far as using the Gulf allies to change the dynamic in the Middle East.
Going back to the conversation you had with McConnell, we played a portion of at the top. If Biden is unable to get $1.9 trillion through the Senate, where, if anywhere, does this go? Could this be the first big failure of Joe Biden to do what he wants to do, this massive COVID spending package?
Possibly. I think they'll jam this one through. I really do. Now that the parliamentarian has said that minimum wage is out, they'll probably take it out and make some kind of deal. And there are some Republicans saying they're willing to deal on the number on minimum wage. And they'll jam it through on party line with 51 under reconciliation. The question I asked McConnell was, does he think that Democrats are going to use reconciliation for other bills? And he says at least one more. And, that again is the question about bipartisanship and reaching across the aisle to get big things done. We haven't seen that yet.
Before we let you go, just because you guys are there in New York too, and with your contacts, how much trouble is Andrew Cuomo in terms of the prospect of impeachment? Yes, you've gotten criticism from some Democrats, including de Blasio, which is there's always been an antagonism between the two. But, is he in real trouble? What's the threat assessment there?
Yeah, I do think that there is action that he's going to face, and I think he is in real trouble. And it seems like these things are mounting. The investigation into the hospital and to the nursing home deaths is real and expanding, and there's a federal element to it. And obviously, all that he said in the past about believing accusers adds to the coverage, which has crossed over to mainstream media. Not a ton, but some. of the allegations of harassment.
Yeah, a lot of the other networks, they're doing their damnedest to try not to cover it, but their hand is being forced a little bit. He is Bret Baier. He's the Fox News anchor, Special Report, 5 p.m. weekdays, Chicago time. #1 best-selling author of 3 Days at the Brink, FDR's Daring Gamble to Win World War II. Bret, thanks as always. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
And he joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson, and by now you've all heard me talk about MyPillow and how it literally changed my life. You've probably seen the stories that some big box retailers are caving under pressure from progressives to take MyPillow products off their shelves. So now for a limited time, Mike is offering his premium MyPillows, yes, the one that started it all, at his lowest price ever. You can get a queen-size premium MyPillow, regularly $69.98, for only $29.98. That's a $40 savings. Folks, now is the time to buy. You can show your support for this great American company by ordering from MyPillow today. Don't let cancel culture win. $29.98 for a queen-size premium MyPillow. So go to MyPillow.com and click on the radio listener square. There you'll also find deep discounts on all MyPillow products, including the Giza Dream bed sheets, the MyPillow mattress topper, and MyPillow towel sets. Or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code AMY.
Charlie Kirk for Douglas Automotive. Do you ever feel like you're at the mercy of your car mechanic, that you don't have a choice with whatever quote they give you for your repair? My friends at Douglas Automotive don't believe this is a way to build a business. At Douglas Automotive, they never charge you for services that you don't need, and they won't take advantage of you with unfair repair quotes should your car suddenly break down. Their trained technicians locate the problem and give clear, understandable options for you to consider. They back this with full documentation that even includes photos of what's causing the problem. There's a reason they're the shop your neighbors trust. Douglas Automotive services both domestic and luxury cars and back it with a complete 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on parts and labor. They have 3 convenient locations with night key drop service if needed. If you prefer, they'll even pick up and drop off your car, completely serviced with all touch points sanitized. Visit online at douglasautomotive.com, douglasautomotive.com.
Service with integrity, Douglas Automotive.
Are you aware that AmericanEagle.com has been designing websites since the internet started? Do you know they've helped companies large and small achieve results that they themselves thought impossible? Today, a well-designed website is an art form. There are no cookie-cutter solutions. At AmericanEagle.com, they are proud to design and develop a website that fits their client's business. Their experience shows that a well-designed website with the client's business at the forefront will bring an excellent return on their investment. Clients, from startups